From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
So, of course, the big story, we've been talking about it all week long, of course, even last week, is the big heat wave. Now, of course, the coast, not necessarily feeling that, right? But you head inland, in the mountains, it's a completely different story. In fact, there's heat advisories and warnings, which we'll take a look at that map here in a second. But the heat wave peaks over the weekend, but next week, a drop in our temperatures. So it's not going to be a prolonged heat wave. So that's certainly some good news. Tonight, upper 50s for the inland areas, mid 50s for the coast, getting up to about 100 degrees. So we're beginning to see those temperatures increase here as we take you into your Friday. Taking a look at Trinity County, over 100 degrees for your daytime high as we go into Friday. Temperatures tonight dropping down somewhere in the upper 50s to low 60s. All right, so we take a look at all these colors out here. We're really focused on Trinity County in northeastern Humboldt County. So you can see here, no other areas in Del Norte or even southern Humboldt County are in any kind of advisory, but it is still going to be hot pretty much anywhere you go inland, and not to mention out towards Trinity County, where we have that excessive heat warning essentially through the weekend. Now, the weekend is when we do expect the biggest heat. Now, it does warm up tomorrow, right? But we're seeing a bigger increase over the weekend, but a nice dip in our temperatures going through next week. Now that's the heat coming in. This is the bubble of heat I've been advertising and talking about since even last week. It's still right on target to be here by the weekend. And then it all shifts eastward through next week, thanks to not this area of low pressure, but this one coming in behind it. Much stronger, more organized and cooler. This is what's going to push that heat to our east through next week and allow us to see those cooler temperatures I was just talking about. All right, so for tomorrow, there you can see in the morning, we're still seeing that morning fog, but I think there's some pretty good chances of seeing some clearing for many of us on the coast on Friday. Now we go into Saturday morning, still looking at that low clouds and fog as we typically would see, and maybe some clearing for Saturday afternoon. Now let's talk about those wave heights, because they are expected to get higher and increase as we go into Friday afternoon and most likely maybe even into Saturday as well. So if you are a boater or a fisherman, be aware that especially come Friday and possibly into Saturday, we're going to be looking at those higher wave heights, and that could certainly have an impact on what you're doing. All right, there's your marine forecast for tomorrow. There are those northwest winds at about 5 to 10 knots, waves to the north at 4 feet at 6 seconds, and from the west at 2 feet at 11 seconds. No alerts, of course. There are some out towards Crescent City and south towards Shelter Cove and out to sea. But again, that's because of those higher wave heights that we do expect as we go into Friday and possibly Saturday. All right, heading out to the Trinity County Fair at the fairgrounds in Hayfork. Well, it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot for Friday and even hotter as we take you into the weekend. So just be aware of that if you're heading out. Make sure you've got plenty of water and check on your kids and the elderly if you're out there in that heat. This is what it looks like tonight. Upper 40s, low 50s for most of us in the higher elevations. Upper 50s for the inland areas, mid to upper 50s for the coast. And we take a look at your Friday forecast. Yes, over 100 degrees for most of us. Even Ruth getting up to 96. Around 100 degrees for Hoopa and Willow Creek. And there you can see along the coast in the low to mid 60s. There's your 7-day outlook. Hoopa, you're up to 104 on Saturday, 101 Sunday. But a nice dip in our temperatures for next week. And for Weaverville, well, there it is, 108 on Saturday, Sunday 107. Still about 100 on Monday, but we will see those temperatures drop down to the mid to upper 90s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Here's your 7-day forecast for Eureka. No big surprises, no big shocker here, right? Basically between 62 and 64, although maybe a little bit cooler on Thursday with a high of 61.